Yeah.
But the point is it's complicated.
Oh, yeah.
There are a lot of factors that will dissuade people from going into these things. And in some cultures and subcultures, specifically in the West, there is antipathy to scientific careers because there's focus more
And actually,
on.
yeah, that's a very good point, and I can jump in with that with actually a real
Yes,
world
please
example.
do.
One of the folks I've interacted with, she's a biology professor now at Williams College, actually, and she's originally from Brazil, but she's related the story before of when she was a kid, and she said growing up in Brazil, said she wanted to go into biology. Her father grounded her because that's not the thing. You're not supposed to do that as a woman, and that's not what my daughter is going to do and all that jazz. And she's now professor of biology. So whose fault is it that there's not a representative proportion of Brazilian women in biology?
It's not the fault of biology. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure on the list of, factors that could be to blame for the lack of representation. But here, it sounds like they're not just talking about representation. That's what scares me more is that if
Oh,
they were just talking about representation, they'd already be dropping mountains of context. But they're not just doing that. They're acting like the discipline itself is to blame for its own level of inaccessibility to all people, which again indicates that their worldview is that all people are come into this world as lumps of clay
oh,
where
oh,
our
oh,
brains can be molded and formed to do and be and whatever they're molded to do and be, and that we don't have anything inborn in us, and we should perfect the human.
yeah.
And you know
Bill, I
there you
am
go.
so glad you said this. My oldest daughter wanted to be a marine biologist, but she saw the DEI stuff around it and said she refused to be a diversity hire and went in a different direction. This
How
has
sad
actually
is
been my
that?
experience. This has actually been my experience also, and it has pissed me off to no end. Yes, okay, preface this. Older generations of women in STEM did have to put up with some very sexist shit that happened.
Sure.
Let's be honest with that. The only time that I have ever had to deal with sexism in my entire career has always been from the DEI chuckle buckets who don't realize what they're saying to me is really, really sexist. And so I put it this way, and pay attention to where I put the primacy when I say this. I am not a woman who happens to be a scientist. I am a scientist who happens to be a woman. Get it through your thick skulls. And don't you dare treat me as a diversity hire ever. Pardon my rant.
No, well said. Well said. And Bill, I'm sorry to hear that because as I
Indeed,
said
as am I.
once before in the show, the loss of intellectual capital in the sciences because of this is staggering. I cannot imagine where I think the only reason we don't have Marty McFly's, little flying skateboards and flying cars is this. We should already have this stuff. We should already have figured out a way to store energy in something other than batteries.
Oh, yeah.
So that we should be so much farther along in our renewables research than we are, but we've been sidetracked by this garbage.
Yep. Yep. But speaking of, let me have the word salad. Throw you some word salad. Did you like that video? Are you curious about the rest of the video? Because that clip came from an episode of Side Chat Saturday, and the full episode is linked in the description. As always, stay curious.